All right, ladies and gentlemen, the man on the screen right now with the cool glasses, the artistic background, and the kind of black polo shirt, which he could be a billionaire or he could be a multi-billionaire. We don't really know. Mr. James Sommerville, designer, speaker, and I would really say thought leader. James, what's going on, man? How are you?
JJ, thanks. I'm glad you described to your audience what I was wearing and all the colors and everything, just in case they're
It's
watching on a
important.
black and white
Yeah, people are
screen.
thinking what I'm thinking. So, ladies and gentlemen, James and I have been friends now, and James started off as a client about a year and a half ago, right? For about now, I believe.
Yeah, that's right. I think it was really when I was really starting to think about how to accelerate from a personal brand, but also business development, if you like, growing the business and that brand as well. So that's when you and I first spoke.
And just to share with the audience, so you were working, obviously you ran a super successful design agency called Attic for many years in multiple countries, and then you transitioned to work for, one of the biggest, if not the biggest company in the world, Coca-Cola, in the global design department. And you came to me because you were looking at, how do we position me now as a thought leader, as a designer? Is that correct?
Well, yeah, I think, I mean, my career history has always been under the quote umbrella of an agency name or a corporate name. In this case, it was Coca-Cola, and of course, they are the focus of everyone's attention because of their brand. I think when you spin out on your own, I think it's important, and the lesson I've learned is to how do you sort of navigate some of that energy back to my own personal brand in itself, and create a stage that I can kind of share what I've done. And, JJ, you've been great at being able to sort of navigate that pathway across from being, the Coke guy to James Sommerville.
Right. Yeah, no, it's really like, and I'm not saying this because you're giving me this, video, but James, like what we've created for you, you're such a great spokesman for my agency, because it's like perfect example of what a lot of people deal with. They've made something else famous, or the spotlight's been on something else, and now we had to turn it on you. And the wins that we've got for you, like, have been great. Like, we got you verified on 3 platforms, right? Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And then we also, got you into some press. And what were some of the other things that, we did for you, other than service, that you were like, hey, this was a really great experience working with me and the team?
Well, I would say to people, watching this and thinking of working with you, it's what you don't see that's of value. So you'll see a blue check mark next to my name, and people are looking for those things. And we could all at one point be in Times Square or a big stage. But actually, what I've found really beneficial about working with you, JJ, is that, let's just call it offline coaching. Here's, like, I remember walking off stage, and rather than you just coming up to me and like gushing me for a great presentation, you're like, okay, this is where you should be thinking about next time you're on stage. Watch that, be careful of that, and do more of that. So for me, that's like having a coach on the side of a field when we're playing, who kind of directs you as you come off. Now, that's nothing to do with a blue check here or a stage there. That's the real magic, I think most people, including me, will be looking for.
No, thank you. Yeah, no, it's I think, kudos to you for being coachable as well. As I said, a lot of people can get you press, and a lot of people can get people verified, but it's like the holistic approach of like, okay, now how do we leverage the media that we have and give you a plan moving forward? James, since we've been working together, what are some of the things that you've noticed with some of the services, whether it's verified or press, that you've seen that's helped you elevate your status or elevate your brand?
I think I find that this is your world, but I find, as it relates to me, that everything is a building block. So whether it's a small stage that someone might be in the audience that leads to a medium and then a large stage, or it's a press article that you've put out, JJ, that I get an incoming LinkedIn message from a business development or a VC we've been raising. So it's really interesting how, you look at the sort of tactics that you've applied and how they lead to other things. And without that kind of igniting that touch paper with that kind of one thing, whether it's an article or a speaking event, there's so many things that wouldn't have happened if that hadn't have happened. So I look at it like that everything's kind of building towards something else around the corner, something unknown, which is the exciting part.
Right. James, there are going to be some people watching this who are going to be exactly in the position before you're working with me. They've got the financial whereabouts to invest into, working with me, but they may be scared of like, look, do I want to spend, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars in seeing something which I may not get the instant ROI? What would you tell them about like why building this brand, is important for someone maybe like you?
Well, the first thing I'd say, and I've grown my career in branding for real products, but it's a long game. There's no silver bullet, there's no magic wand, there's no JJ that's going to make anyone a rock star overnight, but it's about consistency and doing things methodically, being very strategic, and just being out there. I mean, 80%, I'm sure there's a better quote than that, is showing up, right? And so, JJ, you've helped me in my world show up. And so I would say that's a kind of it's not a 12-month thing. It's a 5-year thing, and we all get to achieve what we set out to do. So that would be my advice. Don't think of this as a short-term win. Think of it as a longer-term relationship building that you'll coach us through.
I love it, man. And then, once again, I know that you shared some things of working with me. Like you've worked with a bunch of different agency owners and different services over your entire career. What was I like to work with, James? Because it's important that, I sell, people buy into me and people buy into you. Like, what was my experience like, or your experience like working with me for the last year and a half?
I think what's refreshing in the world that we live in today is you don't hide behind emails, DMs, texts. Sure, we're always on the move and we can all text each other. But I think what's refreshing about working with you, JJ, is you pick the phone up. And you kind of get that feeling that I'm speaking to a human, not a generative AI, auto reply from Google. So I think there's things like that I think you can't take away from where we are today, especially post-pandemic, that we need that interaction, we need that coaching. So I think you bring a personality to it as well as the strategic side and the coaching. So I would say if people out there like that, I think it's, it works great for me. And then not everything is kind of too mechanical and, kind of, as I say, hidden behind an email.
Yeah, no, I love it, man. Well, James, thank you for being here. And so that everybody knows you're not an actor from LA, where can they learn more about you?
I mean, I guess you could just look me up on Instagram, James Sommerville. We're creating our own creative platform, our community, and that's called Known Unknown. So knownunknown.com. LinkedIn, the usual places. If anybody wants to chat, connect, have an offline conversation, just hang out, they can find me.
James, thank you, man. Appreciate it. I'm really excited on what's possible for this over many, many different years and decades.
Great. I did this for you, JJ. A lot of love.
There you go. Hey, we're all fire, no burn, maybe. Get those typos correct. Thanks, James. Appreciate it.
Okay.